it's Jordan. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Fifth Wave movie. Dun 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 dun. I absolutely loved this book. I loved it. I had some problems with the beginning. It took me a while before I was really invested in the story and really cared about the characters. But once I was really in the story, I really enjoyed it. I loved Cassie as a narrator. I thought she was incredibly quick-witted and sarcastic and funny. Those are really my favorite kind of narrators, and so I really appreciated that from her. By the time that I was really into the groove and feeling the story, we changed point of views. And I was like, what? Never once has anybody on their channel that I've seen mention that this book is told from multiple points of view, which it is. I was so taken aback by it. I was so confused. Wait, I was just starting to like Cassie, and now I gotta read from this other person's point of view? Give me Cassie back. I compare this to The Host if everything went to shit and the aliens weren't peaceful. This is what would actually happen if aliens came. They wouldn't just inhabit our bodies. No, they would wipe us out. This is a survival story, which I love. This one does have the elements of sci-fi to it, but it's not overly sci-fi. And it was done in a way where people who aren't big fans of like alien books could still really enjoy this. The ending of this book was cray-cray. Frickin' cray-cray. It was so intense. It's really what sold the book for me. We meet one of my new favorite fictional boyfriends. Evan Walker has been inducted into the National Book Boyfriend Hall of Fame. I loved the relationship between Cassie and her brother. So refreshing to see the love and the commitment and the driving force of a story be a sibling rather than be a love interest. So those are my feelings on the book. Since I'm not doing a book rant for this book, I just wanted to share really what I felt about the book and how much I really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. So I saw this movie when it came out. I was nervous. I checked Rotten Tomatoes and it had like a 20% and I was like, oh God. I just finished this book, so I was like on a fifth wave high. The thought that I was going to go see yet again another YA adaptation that Hollywood bombed, I mean, I was a little crushed. I almost didn't want to see it anymore. I went into the theater having pretty low expectations, and here's the problem with the movie. I didn't hate it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. As a movie on its own, it wasn't an adaptation of the book. It was fine. It felt a little tamed down, but as an adaptation, I'm more conflicted. Considering what they've been doing to adaptations in the past, this could have been a train wreck. I think that they followed the basic plot of this book pretty well. They didn't like drastically deviate from the book, and I appreciated that. I didn't feel like I was seeing a completely new story, but I felt like the movie was less intense. I don't know a better way to describe it. They didn't take it to the intensity level that I thought it was going to be at after reading the book. Especially like that whole end sequence. When I was reading the book, I like sincerely thought that they might not make it. In the movie, it just didn't feel like it was as live or die. That's the problem. It didn't feel like it was as much of a life or death situation. The book definitely played on the idea that these people were being hunted and executed and wiped off the earth. In the movie, it was just missing that, holy crap, we could die at any time and we can't trust a single soul. I also felt like they made the characters in the plot line a bit more generic. Like they took away some of what makes the Fifth Wave special and unique. I just felt like Ben was kind of just like a generic teeny bopper Ben. Cassie was kind of like a generic teeny bopper heroine. Like I said, everything was less intense, but it was still the Fifth Wave. Like I could totally see the similarities to the book. One other thing wasn't necessarily a problem, it was just something that comes with taking a 500-page book and putting it into 2 hours, is the relationships between the characters, like what makes the 4 main characters interact with each other wasn't explained and it wasn't developed as well. The relationships between Cassie and Evan were like way too insta-lovey. I mean, it happened so quickly. And also the Zombie Nugget relationship was not fleshed out in the movie at all. All of a sudden, Zombie had like a dire need to protect Nugget without really saying why. So those are really my non-spoilery feelings on the movie. Goodbye, non-spoilery folk. This is probably the biggest plot thing that they changed that really bothered me. We open with Cassie at a high school party. Cassie is awkward. I mean, she basically stalks Ben for his entire life. He is the boy. There is no way that she was gonna go up to Ben and talk to him at a high school party. In the movie, she went to this party. How does Cassie have friends that go to parties with the popular kids? Because Ben is like the football all-American star, and she's at the same party as him. I'm sorry, but by high school law, that can't happen. And then the phone case conversation sealed the deal on my dislike for that whole opening sequence, and it never came back into play. I wish they would have just talked about the babies. Ben says hi to her, first of all. Ben has no idea who she is. They had one conversation when they were in grade school about babies. I just didn't buy that would actually happen. Next time that they see each other is in the underground bunker at Wright-Patterson. Ben notices Cassie. Oh my god, do you remember me? We went to high school together. Do you remember me? It's Ben Parrish. What? In the book, Cassie's like, this is awkward because Evan's standing right next to me and he totally knows who you are. And now I feel a little uncomfortable. So they like turned it into this weird love triangle in the movie, like Ben liked Cassie and then was like Evan. And it was just so much funnier the way that it was written in the book, with her running into Ben and then Evan dropping down from the ceiling. Wait a minute. Is this Ben? Like the Ben? That could have been a great, really funny scene, and it kind of fell a little bit flat for me. And Evan. I don't think they made him creepy enough in the movie. Things that he says don't really match up with things that he does. So there's like this constant battle of he's saying one thing and I'm seeing something else. They like dialed down his untrustworthiness. They made him more approachable. I mean, there's so many scenes where Evan is just like lurking there and Cassie's like, are you still there? Could you leave now? I know you're still there, Evan. He's a lurker. It's creepy. Evan Walker in the movie was not a lurker, and he wasn't nearly as creepy. In a book, I think you can write and manipulate characters and scenes to not give away plot details. In the book, Evan's actually the one to shoot her. And in the movie, it's a different silencer that shoots her. But I think had we said in the movie that Evan was the one to shoot her, it would have made it a lot more obvious that Evan was an other. And at this point, we didn't know he was an other yet. I think that they kind of changed some things like that. I also thought that Cassie recovered from her bullet wound really quickly. I believe she was there for weeks. She was there for like 3 days in the movie. I don't know why they couldn't have dragged it out or make it at least feel like time was passing. I thought the relationship between Cassie and Evan was a little weird in the movie. It just didn't feel like she ever distrusted him or ever questioned him, but yet didn't really seem like she liked him either. It was a weird vibe. I definitely didn't feel for Cassie and Evan and like fall in love with them as a couple like I did in the book. I really didn't like the moment after Evan storms the compound and runs into Ben and Cassie, and Evan and Cassie start making out with Ben standing there all very awkward and uncomfortable. It's one of those moments where you're watching a movie or a TV show and they're literally in the middle of a battle. It's a life or death situation and the two love interests are making out. Like, I've never understood that, and I was really disappointed when this movie did that too. The one part that I was really like. Another scene that just really bothered me was the way they revealed to us that the kids were the fifth wave. It was really quickly like sped through. Ringer takes out her tracker, her head glows green, they freak out, Ben defends her, Ben has a moment of quiet, and then just like clicks. Oh my god, I've got all the information. There was no discussion or processing, it was just like, in the dark? Oh, in the light. There was no time really for the audience to process it or the audience to feel shocked. Oh my god, they are the fifth wave. It was just like, we're the fifth wave and let's move on. One thing I did really like though is I really liked the way they portrayed the waves. I thought that was so well done. With the water coming crashing through and taking out the people and the buildings, the power going out and the cars crashing and the plane crashing and all their cell phones going out. That whole sequence, I totally enjoyed. I was really surprised though when Evan was fighting off those people in the forest and all of a sudden he's like monkey jumping across the car and swinging out of the trees. He felt very much like a Twilight vampire. I don't think the others have supernatural powers like that because they are inhabiting humans. I wish that they would have done the exchange of showing Cassie what it meant to be an other. That flow of life through Cassie so she could kind of feel and see who Evan actually was. I think that's how she really starts to fall for Evan. Those are all my thoughts on the Fifth Wave movie. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you very soon. Bye! To the Earth to the earth, came to earth. It's like Book Outlet knew I was not buying books, because the day after I finished this book, Book Outlet tweeted that they had The Infinite Sea in stock for like $4 hardcover. I immediately bought it. Asian has blunt black, blunt bling. Evan is like cracking his ass off because... Cracking his ass off? What does that even mean, Jordan?